Hi all. Today I'm going to touch a little bit on diet and how it relates to our mental health. Diet, as we know, is one part of mental health, but it's becoming more and more of an important part as we look at our just daily mood swings all the way through to anxiety, depression, and other mental disorders, and how diet has such an important role to play in the prevention and as well as the management of these of anything related to our psychology. So we know that diet has an important part to play in cardiovascular disease and other chronic conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, just general weight management, digestive disorders, all of those things. But we're seeing more and more the importance of diet and what we're eating and how it affects our mood, okay, even on a day-to-day basis. So what we need to understand is that the brain demands a huge amount of energy on it every day, and up to about 20% of our daily intake goes to our brain function. And what we eat certainly does affect the way our brain is structured, the way it functions, and obviously then affects our mood. So what research has been showing us is that a diet that's sort of more along the Mediterranean lifestyle, more traditional types of diets where there's a much higher intake of vegetables and fruit, nuts and legumes, fish and things like that, seems to be, and show us that they've got a lot more intake of good nutrients that then protect and prevent against any sort of mental disorders, or just have a general beneficial health benefit on all spectrums of health and wellness. Okay, so and the same is true with our psychology. That's what we're seeing here. So as opposed to our sort of more Western diets, which are very high fat, high sugar content, a lot of processed foods, high salt content, this is what we're seeing at the moment. So what we're looking at, and there are certain what we call brain essential nutrients, and those, like our antioxidants, our vitamin C's, we've got vitamin B and folate and magnesium and selenium and even a little bit of potassium, omega-3s. These are all very important for good and healthy brain function. But we don't shop that way, do we? So my recommendation is we need to be able to make sure that we're getting in good whole grains. We need those lots of vegetables and fruits that are going to give us a whole range of the vitamins and minerals, and making sure that we cover the ones specifically for our brains, and try and follow a sort of more traditional Mediterranean style where we're not having a whole lot of processed foods. We've got to try and cut those out, and with that a whole lot of masses of added sugars and things like that, okay, because that is going to affect us in a more negative way. One of the big things is omega-3s, and one of our oily fish, salmon, mackerel, pilchards, our fresh tuna, those are all good examples of where we can get some good omega-3s. Our nuts and seeds, things like your chia seeds, your linseeds or flax seeds, walnuts, those are all very good omega-3 sources that you can get from food. If you find that you are not really getting a lot of these, you don't eat a lot of seafood, that kind of thing, then perhaps an omega-3 supplement is something that you can have a look at. The other very interesting thing for me in terms of mental health, or how our brain is affected by a diet, is the link between our brain and our digestive system. Now you're going to think, oh my goodness, Tracy, you're crazy. But there's just more and more links that are coming up through research as to how those two are impacted, and in fact the digestive system to most parts of our general health and well-being. One of the big things is that we've got a neurotransmitter called serotonin. Okay, now that's the one that helps us to feel full and satisfied after a meal, and about 95% of that is actually produced in your gut, in your digestive system. So what we want, and along your gut lining there's millions of neurons and things that are transmitting information and providing us with hormones and all sorts of things that will get to the brain and send messages that we need it to be sending in terms of fullness and satiety and feelings of hunger or not being hungry. There's all sorts of things going on there. So we need to be able to keep our gut strong and healthy. We need to keep the lining of the gut strong and healthy. and the actual environment, which we call the microbiome. Okay, now what keeps that healthy is something that you may have heard of. It's called probiotics. Okay, now those are the live bacteria that are living in your stomach, and well, not in your stomach, in your digestive system. And those are the ones that actually help to prevent inflammation. They help to help to get your nutrients to be absorbed better, and keep your gut system healthy and strong. Okay, and help fight toxins and other bad bacteria. So that's why we need that, and those probiotics are very important. Now, again, relating back to the Mediterranean diets and the more traditional diets, we often find a lot of the more sort of fermented food products, like your kefirs and your kombuchas and misos, and so your sort of live cultures and yogurts, things like that, which are rich in your probiotics, and which then help this gut system. Okay. Right, so like I was saying, when we go and we look for food and we eating, we don't eat in terms of nutrients. I don't look at my plate and I say, I'm going to put on some B vitamins, and I'm going to put on some C vitamins, and I'm going to put on some omega-3s, and I'm going to put on probiotics. We eat whole foods, okay? So just to give you some handles, here's my tray of foods that I've got out here, just some healthy things to remember. Our whole grains, things like our oats and barley and things like that. Some legumes, whether it be lentils, chickpeas, beans, things like that. Your fresh fruits, these are strawberries. Berries are particularly rich in those wonderful antioxidants, vitamin C, things that you need to keep your brain stimulated and keep your mood stable. So your fresh fruits, your vegetables, nice green leafy veggies like spinach, very good for you, lots of folate and iron in these ones. And over here I've got some seeds. I've got some chia seeds and some pumpkin seeds and some nuts that we can get our omega-3s from, and some pilchards here. There's my nice tin of pilchards for you, which are excellent in omega-3s. Of course, it comes in all with a good balance, okay? And part of stabilizing mood is also to make sure that we're preventing cravings. So eat small meals regularly, including these whole grains, lots of vegetables, lots of fruits, your lean meats, and your legumes, like I said before. Try to stay away from lots of processed foods, and keep your salt and your sugar intake on a lower end. And then, like I said, if you're not getting enough of your omega-3s from your diet, it might be a supplement to consider. The same is true with a probiotic. It might be something that you can, if you're not able to get a good whole range of a diet, maybe some of those fermented products that I spoke about, like a yogurt with a live culture in it, then perhaps a probiotic for a maintenance for a little while. Then that keeps the digestive system healthy. So preventing those cravings, regular snacks, because otherwise if you have those severe cravings, you might have a dip in your serotonin levels, which means that your mood is going to be affected as well. Okay, so having all of these things, a general healthy meal, a balanced diet that is also connected with drinking enough water, exercising, managing your stress, which is also another whole thing altogether. That will all impact on a healthy mental state and a good psychology in general. Okay, but I hope that these will give you some idea of getting those what we are happy foods in, get those nuts and seeds in, get those whole grains in, try a couple of legumes, get your green leafy veggies in, your fruits, all sorts, keep the variety going, and you should feel the difference. Have a nice day, guys. Bye-bye.